Hey everybody and welcome back. I wanted to bring you a video today basically helping you upgrade your BT9 decks to BT10 decks because the format or the BT10 format is like 2 weeks away, and if like me you have a hard time getting product in the first place, whether it be down to the cost of product, which is an issue for a lot of people, let's not gloss over that, or accessibility. So like where I am in Ireland, it can be kind of difficult to get product on time, and it can just be kind of hard to get certain product in general on time or not, like those floral fun sets that I really wanted and I just haven't been able to get them because they're mainly in the US and not a lot of places were selling it here, and I didn't realize where I was selling it on time, stuff like that. Anyway, especially at the start of formats, while you're having trouble getting your new deck, getting your cards, due to any reason, I thought it'd be nice to bring you a video showing you what decks you can actually play in the BT10 format, and maybe you only need 1 or 2 cards that you can get on Card Market or TCG Player, stuff like that, trade for it, whatever you gotta do, just to get your BT9 decks to a BT10 deck. So I'm going to start with blue. There are 2 decks that are currently being played in the BT9 format that are destroying the format currently. Now, I know there are a lot of decks topping in general. It is a very diverse format. I'm kind of sad we're leaving it because I liked all of the innovation that was happening and all the different decks that were just popping up out of nowhere. It was insane. But 2 decks that rightfully dominated, they're brilliant decks, were the Blue Melga deck and the Imperial Digimon deck. I mean, even I won with Melga, like, amazing deck, great. It didn't see a lot of play in the Japanese format. Now, whether that was because Yellow Hybrid had Jet Selfimon at 4, or like in the Japanese meta, they just like to all play the new decks regardless of what they are, just because cards are so accessible for them over there. So they just like to try out new decks, and they are a best of 1 format. So consistency isn't as important in the Japanese format as it is in the English format. But I do think Melga could make it into the BT10 format, especially with the players who really, really enjoy playing it and are very good at piloting the deck. You can play it completely as is. You don't need to change anything. But if you did want to spice it up just a little bit, you could add in the BT10 Omnimon. This Omnimon is absolutely insane. You can reduce the Digivolution cost by 2 if you're Digivolving on an X antibody, which in your Melga deck you do have the Melga X antibody, great card. But when Digivolving, it bottom decks all of the highest level Digimon on the board, which is really cool. So like, it doesn't delete it, so it doesn't cause any deletion effects. And then it has more, because Omnimon always has more. When you Digivolve or when you attack, you can return either the X antibody option card or a level 6 from your Digivolution sources to the bottom of your deck to reveal your opponent's security and trash one of their security cards. So, amazing effect. You get to look at your opponent's security and see what's in there, so you know whether you're going to be able to like straight go for game as well, which is, it's crazy to me that you can do that. But it is a good way to add a little bit more spice to the deck if you do want to change it. Other than that, you don't actually need to do too much. Same for Imperial Digimon. The Omnimon X is a really good card to add into that deck, but also you can just play it as is. It has a lot of removal, which will be quite good this format. Removal being sending it back to hand or bottom decking, not deleting, because deleting is bad this format. Next, we are looking at the black decks. I go black next because there's a particular deck in there that I just really want to talk about. I think it's really cool. First off, you have your Alphamon. The English meta hasn't banned Alphamon, essentially, banned the deck as a whole, because you know that level 5 is pretty much the deck. We still have a full Alphamon deck, and it's not actually seeing that much play. Funnily enough, I thought it would see more play considering that it's still not, or the level 5 still hasn't been banned here. But anyway, continue to play it as is if you are playing that deck until a ban list drops for the English format, which we don't know when or if it's even going to happen. But the deck I really wanted to talk about though, especially kind of with EX3 coming around the corner as well, because EX3 will be released very soon, is D Brigade. Now, D Brigade has done so well in BT9. out of nowhere, it just kind of snuck up on me. I didn't expect it to be very viable in BT9, but I was extremely wrong. D-Brigade has just been an amazing deck. I've seen it top a good bit this format, and in BT10 it gets support. Well, EX3 it gets support, but BT10 and EX3 are kind of melded into one just because they're so close together. And the black structure deck as well also gives D-Brigade and other black decks a little bit of support too. So first of all, you get another Commandramon, and this Commandramon has decoy, but the effect isn't as important as the fact that it is a Commandramon that you can play more of to make your Darkdramons cheaper. They also get a Tankdramon in EX3, which I believe it reveals the top 3 cards of the deck, and you can play a D-Brigade card out for free. I think if it's 5 costs or less, something like that anyway. But again, more support for the deck. Amazing card. It also gets another Darkdramon with pretty much the same on play. You return the Commandramons to the top of the deck and reduce the play cost that way. But it has some removal built into that Darkdramon as well. So his secondary effect is if you play another D-Brigade Digimon, you get to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost equal to or lower than the Digimon you just played. And then you get to unsuspend your Darkdramon. So absolutely insane card. So more Darkdramons, more Commandramons, more Tankdramons, and you can still add in all of the spooky option cards that you want to add into the deck. And if that wasn't enough, you also have the Chikurimon from the structure deck, which is pretty much Psychmon, which is going to be so important in this format, in the BT10 format. D-Brigade, the little dinosaurs with guns, they are going on a rampage, and I cannot wait to see how many people do well with that deck. Next we're moving on to green. So we have green in BT10 is pretty much Bloomlordmon. But I did see early days in Japan, everyone was still playing Grandis, because Grandis is still a very good deck, and it is still a very powerful OTK deck that a lot of people just can't deal with. It's very fast and it just deletes security. So still an amazing deck, and a lot of people were still playing it early days. Now you don't need to change anything in it, so you can still play the deck the same way that you've been playing it the whole time with the BT9 cards. And then from what I saw anyway, I used Digimon card meta to kind of gauge what's going on. Later on, everybody did just change over to Bloomlordmon and a few sprinklings of other green decks here and there. But Grandis, still viable. Continue to play them until you get your cards for other decks if you want to play it. Or, just dominate with it the entire format. So next, we're looking at purple. And there's kind of 3 different decks in purple that you probably have the majority of the cards for already. Now, the first one is Mastamon. You can play Mastamon as is. You don't have to change absolutely anything in Mastamon, which is really cool. Or you can add in 2 Minervamon to your Mastamon. Or you can add in some Venusmon, I think is okay to play in your Mastamon as well. Just to add a little bit of something different to the deck if you're seeing, I guess meta dependent really. If a lot of people are playing certain decks, Venusmon tends to shut down a lot of decks. Mastamon is one. Then there's Baelstar. I have seen a few Baelstar decks in the Japanese meta for BT10 and EX3, and basically they just play it as is. It's just a lot of removal. Removal cards are always going to be good, but I guess with the deletion against Cross Wars, there might be an issue there, but still, completely viable deck, and people are still playing it at the moment. And then the third deck you could play is Minervamon. So if you're building a Minervamon deck, you actually only need to get 4 Minervamon. You don't need any other cards really from BT10. You need a lot of purple cards from previous formats, but you can play around with different builds. There's so many different builds of just Minervamon. It kind of mainly goes around the Cerebrusmon, is that how you pronounce the name, where you play the one to delete the other one to gain the 9 memory back. So Minervamon kind of focuses around that at the moment, but you could have a completely new deck based around Minervamon while only picking up 4 cards from BT10. So they'll cost low and kind of get you the cards a little bit faster, because I'm sure you'd be able to get 4 cards faster than you'd be able to get an entire new deck. So then yellow, the only yellow deck I saw that is still kind of being played in BT10 from previous formats is Security Control. Now, a lot of people do love Security Control. I have no problem with it. I think it's a very good deck. A lot of people are just going to be adding Venusmon into it and still playing it the same way that they played it before, because again, removal is amazing and Venusmon is a insane card. Like, and she's a waifu, so why wouldn't you want to play her? I should really say that what Venusmon does in the first place. When Digivolving, she gives security attack -1, and then Digimon with security attack can't attack her. And they also can't activate their when attacking when Digivolving effects. So she's kind of a good card, and I can totally see why Security Control are going to be playing her. Other than that, you see yellow was mainly like yellow hybrid, and since Jet Sylphimon got limited to 1, yellow hybrid has just fallen off, especially in the English format. So I'm not entirely sure what's going to be cropping up yellow wise, but I'm excited to see. So yeah, good news for the second players though. And then finally, we're going to go through red. So there's only one deck in BT9 that I saw that people are playing in BT10, and that is the Wargrey X. Now, I don't know how good it is, honestly, but the only thing that you really add in to make the deck better is that Omnimon X that we talked about with the Wargrey, or the Metal Garurumon deck. The deck still does what it does. I don't know how much play it is going to see or how good it is going to be going up against the newer decks, but it is still viable completely. It might be like a tier 2 deck, but you could still bring it to your locals and still have fun with it if it is a deck that you really enjoy. Just get that Omnimon, chuck it in there, and there you have yourself a nice BT9 or BT10 Wargrey X deck. I hope this has helped everybody kind of have an idea of what to play for their locals or for tournaments that are coming up with that they don't currently have all of the cards for the new decks that they want to play, or they just want to continue playing the decks that they have, and they don't really want to invest in a new deck. That's completely fine as well. Like, all of these options are super viable. And let me know if there's any decks that I missed or that you think is going to be viable in BT10 from BT9 that I didn't mention here. Have fun going into the BT10 meta. I hope you get to play the decks that you want. I hope you get all the cards that you need. And in the meantime, feel free to let me know what you're playing in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.